another one.
Welcome in, everybody. What's going on?
Good evening. What's up?
28 of you here already. Y'all are the on-time ones. Everybody rolls in like 5 minutes later usually. So welcome in. Where are you from? Put it in the chat. Let us know. Got the whole team here tonight. Aaron, Jared, Kenny. Excited to share this one with you guys. This is going to be more of a beginner training. So as it said in the title, we're going to be covering services, packages, pricing. We're also going to cover gear that you need to do this. So let me know where you're from, because that's just fun. And then second of all, let me know where you are in the real estate photography process. Like, are you thinking about starting? Have you already started? It's a different audience every time we've done a live. So jump in and let me know.
Cool. Got New Zealand, Canada too on the list.
Got some rep members in here too. That's cool. Mike, how's it going? Burley?
Burley's here.
Again. Going. He's been live as much the past few days. Making it to everyone. Dave said thinking about starting. For a bag team have started.
We need to send Dave a perfect attendance award.
New Jersey started about 2 months ago. Nice, Matthew. How's it going so far? How many clients have you got? How many shoots have you done? Let me know. Canada, New Zealand. I need to go back to New Zealand. I went in 2019. It was great. I just didn't spend enough time there. Anyway, we'll jump into it here in a second. Give everybody just probably like a minute or two more to jump in, and we'll get going. So the plan is I'm going to share with you the gear that I recommend. Some of you guys may have seen this before, but again, this is more of a beginner training. We'll obviously be answering questions at the end. So even if you have any questions, if you're not a beginner, we'll be here to answer those. But we'll be talking about gear first, and then we'll be moving into services you should offer as a real estate photographer. Should is a strong word, right? Should being if you want to make more money, you should probably offer them. Packages, how to package your services to get clients to order more. And then pricing, how we price things, what we've seen. Obviously, you can't just copy our prices because your market may be different. So I'll talk a little bit through how to find that kind of thing. And then we'll jump into some Q&A. Team will answer some questions. All these guys are coaches in our coaching program. So they're working with students daily, building businesses. And so I'm going to have them answering some of your questions. I'll answer a few as well. I guess we should get started. Should we go into it, guys?
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
Well, let me pull up, first of all, gear. So this is by far the least important part of your real estate photography process. Like the gear you have, I promise you is not going to make or break your business. And I'm going to tell a story about a guy we work with a long time ago at this point. Well, 2 years, right? A long time relatively. And he came to a workshop in person, one of our video workshops. And I was talking to him, and this was earlier in the day. I was talking to him. I was like, hey, how's it going? He was telling me about his business. He's like, I started, I don't know, I think it was 6 or 8 months ago at that point. And he was like, I just did my first $10,000 a month. And that's a huge milestone, right? But that's not the cool part of the story. The cool part of the story is later on. We were outside. It was nearing the end of the workshop. And he had a question about gear. And in order for me to answer it, I had to know what type of gear he was using. It was a settings question. And I was like, hey, what are you shooting with? And he was like, it's the one you recommend. And so he had built a $10,000 a month business, and he didn't even fully remember what camera he was using. Now, he was using the Canon M50, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But the point that I want to make is that the gear you're using is not going to make or break your success as in real estate media. What will is what you focus on. So where a lot of people just make such a big mistake is they focus too much on the gear they have. Hey, I'm not going to start until I can afford this better gear. Or it's, hey, how do I master this piece of equipment? And just really, like, none of that matters. So I want you to go into this knowing that what I am teaching you is for practical purposes only, like to give you the least amount of effort on your gear. And then I want you to it, because gear is not what's going to grow your business at all. If you focus on it, it's going to slow you down. I'll put this link in the chat. It's kit.co/it's Eli Jones. I'm just going to drop that has all of this. So you can actually look at this for yourself after the stream and save that link. You'll see we have 3 different kits on here for real estate photography. One is the real estate kit, what my team uses, what my photographers, my employees use. Our budget kit, this is what I recommend every single person get started with. There's no point in going straight to the gear we use. I'll tell you why we use instances, but I recommend you start with this. This is if you're a lunatic and you just want to spend a ton of money because you love camera equipment. If that's you, by all means. But I don't want you to think you need this gear in order to be good as a real estate photographer. That's a fallacy that's going to lead you in the wrong direction. So I'm going to jump into our budget kit first, show you what's in here. Camera we recommend for getting started is the EOS M50. You can get the Mark II or Mark I version. It doesn't matter. I recommend getting it used. EFM lens fits on the mirror that the EOS M50 is. This tripod's less than $100. This is a pretty cheap memory card. This is one of the cheapest drones on the market. I still recommend this drone. Even if you're growing your business, you're starting to get more successful, you don't really need to upgrade. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But really all you need to get started is these 3 and this. You can add some of this as you go, as you get some clients, let your clients pay for your upgrades is something I believe in. But either way, this kit will get you a full real estate media for as cheap as possible, meaning you'll be able to shoot all the products that we are going to talk about tonight. So it'll be photos, right? To shoot photos, you need these 4 things. Video. To shoot video, you'll need this in addition to these 4 things. 3D tours, right? That's the 3rd primary service that we offer. Use this. And then you have some other things like drone for drone photos, or this for room measurements. That's not even really important at this point. This for social media reels. But this whole kit, if you buy it used, you should be able to get it well under $1,500. I don't recommend buying new, especially if you're on a budget. Now, if you have some money and you're like, hey, it's not, I'd rather just get started. Awesome. Like buy it all, buy this, don't spend any more and get going. So that's the real estate budget kit. Does anyone have any questions about that before I move on to the kit that our employees use? Let's see. I'm just reading through here. Yeah, so I think you might have asked this question before I started, because that is the exact camera that we recommend starting with. It is the budget kit. So you right on right there. Yeah, this is another great budget camera, A6 with a Sony 10-18. Here's the deal with real estate photography. Important thing is the lens, not the camera you shoot with. And so when we're working with anybody, a new coaching client comes in, they're like, Eli, what should I buy? Because we help them through that process. I always tell them, hey, do you have any camera right now? Because if you have like any camera, as long as it has a detachable lens and it's made in the last 10 years, it's not film or something, like we can work with that. I am a big fan of clients pay for your upgrades. So if you have a camera, let's get you doing some shoots, get you paid, and then you can use that to upgrade if you choose, right? You're not just going in there and wasting money, or worse, thinking you need ahead of starting. Yeah. You don't want to put anything ahead of starting your business. Yeah, this is another great one, A6300, 10-20, perfect lens on that. Nice. You got the better version of the tripod here. So, I mean, listen, by all means, if you want to spend that much money on a drone and a camera, go for it. To me, when I'm flying a drone that it costs multiple 4 figures, I'm too scared to fly it anyway. So maybe I'm just cheap. Either way, that's the budget. Go ahead and go back to what my employees use. Again, I'm just going to skim through this one. You will have the link. I shared it. It's kit.co/it's Eli Jones. The reason we use this kit is not so much durability, or is not so much quality as it is durability and battery. So your photos are going to be roughly the same on the M50 in this, because most of the work we talked about in one of the past live streams, most of the thing that makes your photos look good is the editing. You're all shooting 3-bracket HDR, at least if you follow our method. If you don't know what that is, I have videos on YouTube about it. But that doesn't really matter what camera it's coming from. The benefit of this is 2 things, this EOS R setup. Number 1, you get slightly better video in low light. I don't think that's worth waiting for. But number 2, the battery in this camera lasts a lot longer than the M50. It's a more durable camera. It's physically bigger, so it's easy to work with. And our team is doing multiple shoots a day, between 2 and 4 shoots typically. So we want something that's going to last and be durable, but it's not because of the quality upgrade. At least 95% of it is not. Same thing with this tripod, right? You can get the same results with the other tripods. Found that tripods become disposable basically when we use cheap ones. We're constantly having to get new ones. And so I blocked Jared with that question. And so there's no real reason, when you're first starting, to go for a $400 or $500 tripod setup like this. But when you start shooting every day, you quickly wish you had some higher quality gear. Same thing going down here, just some more batteries for the drone. So you have this kit available to you. That's not the main part of this video, though. I just wanted to do a quick run through on that, and we'll talk about pricing here in a second.
Could I add something, Eli?
Yeah.
About the gear. The key to this business, besides customer service, is just being the most efficient as possible as you can. And so whether you're a big spender and like, let's just say you do have the money to buy like the highest quality camera and all that, you're not going to use it to its full potential. We have a really great friend of mine. His name is Chris, and he loves cameras. He loves technology in general. And so he has a very successful real estate photography business, and he has like the most expensive camera gear and everything, but he just doesn't use it at its most potential or the highest potential, just because he knows that the key to this business is efficiency and just being as quick as possible.
And he bought the gear because he likes it, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He earned it.
Yeah.
His business makes tens of thousands of dollars a month. And so what I am not saying is that I'm cheap with every area of my life. That's not the goal, right? The goal is, to me, I need the equipment to get the job done. And then for me, equipment is not something I enjoy. So if I enjoyed having a $5,000 drone, but I don't. I'd rather make the money from my business. I'm a car guy. You guys know that. I'd rather spend money on a cool car than tens of thousands for the camera equipment. And so I think there's nothing, I'm not telling you shouldn't. I'm saying you shouldn't think that camera equipment is what's going to make or break the success of your business, because it is not. It's one of the least important things you could consider. Just a couple of questions, then we'll jump into the next part of the shutter count. Not really. Obviously, you know, the shutters go out after a certain amount. They can. We've put hundreds and hundreds of thousands of shutters through a lot of cameras. The mirrorless cameras, it seems to be less of an issue. Jared, there's still like a shutter in mirrorless. I just don't know 100% how it works. But either way, I don't think it's important. I would just buy a camera and rock it. You'll pay it off far before the shutter count runs out. Yeah, EOS R16 to 35 f4. This is the exact combo we use. So cool. Well, I'm going to move on to pricing and services. This does matter for your business. It's one of the more significant things. So the rest of it doesn't. That is absolutely not the case. So this is our order form for my business. This is exactly how clients go through and place an order. So I want to show you how we do things that does a couple things for us. Number one, I've made a lot of videos on this, but if you are just a real estate photographer, meaning you don't offer all these packages and stuff, you just offer photos, it is going to be very, very hard for you to make the kind of money that you probably are expecting to make as a real estate photographer. So, you know, when we see photographers who are making six figures and above, which is really common in real estate media, they're not just photographers, right? They own a real estate media company. Now, maybe it's only them, but it's still not, they're not a photographer. They shoot photos, they shoot video, they shoot 3D tours, drone photos, they make floor plans. And I'm not saying that because I want you to overwhelm you. It's really easy to learn all these services. Like, we have new photographers ready at my photo business in about 2 weeks. So it's not something that takes a long time to learn. It is something, though, you need to think about when you're building your business. You really don't want to just offer photos. There's a video that I made that many of you have probably seen because it got a ton of views, but it was the difference between a $60K a year real estate photographer and a $250K a year real estate photographer. And that difference is add-ons and additional services. And so you'll see that on our website, the primary packages we offer all include a lot more than just photos. So this package is our top package. It's $825. It includes photos, it has a video, has a 3D tour, a 3D floor plan, a basic floor plan, drone photos, virtual, like we do a lot at that listing, right? And so that is how we boost something that is a very important metric to track in this business, which is called average order value. So if you haven't heard me talk about average order value, what that is it tells you that when someone places an order, what is the average amount of money they spend? And that's going to take into account some people order $825, and there's some cheapos out there that just go for our base photo package or even our base photo package for $135, right? So it's the average price of those all put together. Now, your goal as a real estate media business owner, if you want to make more money, is say, how do I get that average order value up, right? And first of all, just focusing on it is really good for your business. We didn't focus on it when Aaron and I were first starting our business and growing it. Like, we didn't start focusing on this till we were doing way more than $10,000 a month. And that was a huge mistake, right? We just focused on photos. We didn't really think about this. We didn't track it. And so that's something I'd encourage you to do from the start. Because we care about average order value, you can see that our packages are what we put first. So how our order flow works is our client is going to come in here and they're going to select the package. After they select the package, they have to put in an address. So I'm just going to put in Main Street in Fort Worth, our main city, Fort Worth. And then it's going to take them to something else that increased our average order value, which are add-ons, right? As you can see here, we're just switching over the system. So the thumbnails are not quite in on some of these, but either way, we sell them some additional services. So they can add a floor plan with fixed furniture. They can add a social media video bundle, social media reel, 60-second drone photos, drone tours. There's a bunch of additional services that we sell them. And so as you're building your real estate media business, first of all, think of it as a real estate media business and not a photo business. Photo businesses and photographers are broke. Real estate media business owners can make money. So it's obviously a little bit of a something, but it's true in this industry. So that's the next thing I encourage you to consider. When it comes to your services, you saw everything we offered, but there's 3 main categories, right? Photos, videos, and 3D tours. And if you're not offering all of those, you're just leaving a ton of money on the table. So here's how you can make this easy. 1, you can always just go look what we offer as our packages. Our main Norman & Young website has all of our packages, but that's not that important. I'll talk about pricing in a second too. So the other thing that I really recommend is just looking at real estate media companies in your area and looking at the services they offer. And the cool thing about this is that will help you determine pricing as well. Now, here's not what I'm saying to do. I'm not saying roll up and copy everything that your other competitors do and then just make it cheaper. Like that is not a good strategy. You can see everybody here at Coaches is like, don't do that. Like there's no strategic advantage to being the cheapest out there, really. You may think there is because you're like, I'm the cheapest, but real estate agents, your clients are not ordering off of, well, who is the cheapest? They're looking at other things, right? They're looking at the service you provide, meaning how you show up at their house, what you're dressed like, how you talk to clients like, how fast you have the photos back to them, how willing you are to maybe spend 10 or 15 minutes prepping a house. These things that actually matter to them, right? Are you trustworthy? Can they build a relationship with you where they don't have to show up to shoots? Real estate agents will pay more for that. And so our advice is always be in at least the top half of the pricing in your area. Now, when I say that, I don't mean the top half of the most expensive architectural photographer in your area that does 2 shoots a year. I'm talking about the people who shoot real estate daily. You want to find those companies and you want to be at least in the top 50% of pricing. We are in the top at least 20% of pricing in my area. And that's not because we're good or established, right? That's because that's what we've chosen for our business because we want to be priced near the premium end so that we have money. First of all, that's important to run a good business, right? But then when you do that, you're able to build a better team and overall just have a better business. And so when it comes to pricing for the packages you should offer, you can look to see what your competitors offer. When it comes to pricing, do the same thing. Get a ballpark because if you just go copy our pricing, sure, that will work. We're in Texas, a middle market, right? If you're in California, you just left hundreds of dollars a shoot on the table. If you're in Florida, you just left hundreds of dollars per shoot on the table. You know, Washington State, New York State, a lot of the more high-end markets or coastal markets really on both sides of the US and any other high-end market around the world. If you just copy our prices, you made a big mistake. And so my encouragement to you is to go look at your local and do some research. The flip side of that is you do not need to spend more than like an hour on this. If you go back and forth thinking about every little price and everything you're going to offer, you're going to waste a lot of time. But it is important to have it locked in and do a little bit of research. So that's the prepared stuff that I have for you. At this point, I'm sure there's some questions. We got 82 of you in here live. So drop your questions in the chat. I'm going to have the team answer those. And would really encourage you, if you're thinking about starting your real estate photo business, think in the short term about what it would look like to add those other services. So when you're first starting, sure, start with just photos. But as soon as you can add those other services, drone, 3D, video, to your list of services, number one, you're going to make more money per shoot, which is awesome. But number two, you're going to be a one-stop shop. So a real estate agent doesn't have to order video from somebody else and photos from you. That's going to open up the amount of clients that are willing to work with you significantly. And so, yeah, if you only got $600, you got to start with just photos. But as soon as you start making money, really encourage you to reinvest that into getting the other gear. So yeah, it depends on where you are. So I'll answer this one, and then I got one for, well, probably all of you to chime in on. We'll get in a second. So it depends on where you are specifically in Southern California. I would say there's a big range of pricing in Southern California. So you could be a lot more than Norman & Young. We've worked with businesses in San Diego, Bay Area. I know it's not really Southern.
Los Angeles, yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna rapid fire this question to everybody. I'll start with you, Aaron. What are a couple things that you would use to set yourself apart when you're talking to an agent? Not how you'd say it, but like what are things you would focus on? Don't
Yeah,
take all.
I'd say one quick background thing to think of is trying not to think of it as a situation where it's you over here, then every other photography company that exists in the entire 2-hour radius of where you live. It's never going to be usually a head-to-head like that. And it's also worth remembering a lot of photographers are not going to be focused on the things that I think actually count, that agents actually like: the customer service side of things, the availability side of things, the fact that you'll help a homeowner tidy the home together as much as possible when you're at the shoot. That's what I would want to focus on. I would not want to get in a battle where I'm trying to explain, well, here's how I shoot the photos, and trying to explain that in a way the agent's going to understand. It's not going to be a pathway that's super helpful. So don't go in there and go, well, I do these services and I don't do these ones, but I'm going to get there yet. We don't want to complicate it. Introduce yourself. Go for a personal connection. Explain how you're so excited for this business. You're passionate to see it grow. You'll do anything you need to at a shoot to help the homeowners. That's the most difficult part of an agent's life. So there's a lot of little things you can talk about. The main thing I would say is you think about it.
What do you think?
Not a comparison of photos versus photos. It's
Yeah,
how you make life easier.
I love what Aaron said. I mean, build that connection with the agent, show your enthusiasm about your business. And essentially what I wanted to say is just like, you're the brand right now. No, your logo, nothing of that matters. Not even your competitors. So don't even think about that. Like, it's you that the person is hiring, not really like your photos or the fact that you don't offer drone. And something that you should never do is lie and say that you actually offer it. Just work hard to get a drone, maybe get your Part 107 first, obviously. But at the end of the day, like, you're the brand. And if you show that enthusiasm and you're upfront with them and you say like, hey, I'm just starting out and I would love to get in your business. I really want to make this work. So, and you just explain to them what you're doing and how you are. They're going to want to work with you 100%.
And what are your thoughts, Kenny, about bringing your story? You mentioned you don't have a drone yet. I guess talk a little bit about like being vulnerable and where you're at with your clients, because I think it perfectly matches what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I always say this to everyone, like, people want to help people. And the more upfront you are with them and honest, you're like, hey, I just don't have a drone right now, but I'm I'm working towards it. But I can offer photos, I can offer 3D tours, and I guess HDR photos. You can do video as well. If you're just upfront and honest with them, they're going to want to work with you. They're going to want to help you out. Getting that client and referring you to other people is going to help you get more clients, which will, more paid shoots, and then you're going to get your drone. And so, I mean, just be honest.
And one thing we talked about a lot is when you're a small company, you pretend to be big and you start saying like, yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. It's just you. And what bigger companies know is we small again. And Norman Young, I wish we had the advantages you have as a solo operator, right? You're the one answering the phone. You're the one going to the shoot. You're the one QCing it. You're the one responsible for everything. That's a huge benefit. And so don't, let people invest in and know who you are. Share what's going on. Hey, like, one of the best ways that you can pick up more clients, and this is not the question, but one of the best ways is to let your clients know that you are really trying to get some more clients in your business so that you can blank. Maybe it's so that you can go full time, or maybe it's so that you can get more equipment, right? Get them invested. You can even text clients nicely and be like, hey, Jason, thanks so much for having me out for that shoot yesterday. Quick question. I'm trying to get a couple more clients so I can grow my business and go full time. Do you know anybody I should be working with? And Jason, the realtor, is probably going to refer you. Jared, anything to add about what sets us apart at Norman Young, or how you would position yourself to be set up?
Yeah, I'd just say you're not pitching your brand, you're pitching yourself. And don't focus on what you don't offer, focus on what you do. I'm on time, I dress nice, I will treat your clients like they're my clients. You can trust me to lock up the house, turn off the lights. I will leave the house how I found it. I will hide things and I will put them back before I'm gone. Just focus on what you do add, not what you don't have. If they ask about drone, I'm not quite there yet. I'm studying really hard right now. I plan on taking it next week. I don't focus on that. Most of them won't ask.
You don't have to
let them grow with you.
My photo quality, my video quality, anything, it was basically just like all customer service related. Like, I dress nice, I'll treat your clients as if they were my clients. Like, all of those things matter to the agent more than the the quality of the photo and video.
I always say it, dude. Photos are the easy part.
Yeah. Okay. So going to photos, I want everybody to just give some advice to Sydney here, one at a time with this situation. And I'm going to start with Jared because Jared is the most likely to tell it as directly as possible in this scenario. Jared, what are your thoughts? And Kenny's going to be a second on this one of a similar.
Are we talking about small houses? Have so much blackout skills in composing.
Read the last sentence.
This is my only block from. Oh my gosh, no, it's not. The only block from starting is you haven't started yet. I can shoot 40 pictures of this room right here and sell it to an agent. Like, it is something that comes with experience and practice, and you're not practicing. You're not starting. Start. There's nothing blocking you from starting except for you.
Yeah. Kenny, what do you think?
I mean, that's just start. There's like, what can you, like, there's nothing to lose. There's just a lot to gain. The worst thing that could happen is the client is mad and then nothing happened. Nothing changed in your life. You just move on to go to the next client and get another client. And that's how you start getting more.
Just a follow-up was, should I do more practice shoots on my own home? If you've done a couple on your own home, you're ready.
You're good.
Ready.
What are your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, I think to follow up on what Jared and Kenny said, which is they just go to the heart of the issue and say, hey, there's a lot of things we could find. There's a lot of problems we can come up with. I think someone else made a comment similar about this, but the biggest problem actually for everyone is fear. It's fear, which leads to indecision, which leads to not taking steps. And the truth is, there's probably a lot of things we could point out. We could say, well, your idea for how good you need to be is probably incorrect, or your idea of what it should look like in small spaces might be bigger than it actually needs to be. And all those things are true. And there's a lot of tactical things, and you can come up with a list of, oh, here's how we can do it. And it's important to some very small degree. But the main thing is fear stops a lot of people from doing what they really want to. And my guess is, yeah, you said something similar already. You know the answer.
Sydney, so you're aware.
Yeah.
Right.
You know the answer already.
You know the answer. Important. And here, this is a question I wanted to go to next. So thank you for the good ones. And I hope that encourage you to go out and start, because no one feels ready. But this is something we talk about a lot on the REPP team, and we talk with coaching students and just people in general. There's this idea that everybody has out that it is easier for everybody else. So you'll see people. We had 3 guys. We did our conference 2 weeks ago in Vegas, where we get all of our REPP members together, coaching course people, and we do a conference. And we did a panel, and there was 3 guys on the panel with me, and all of them a successful business quickly. That was the topic of this panel. Like, they'd been in business all less than 9 months. One of them was 3 months in and did a 20K month. And we talked a lot about this, and every one of them agreed. And I think everybody who's done anything of any size agrees. It is not that the people who build successfully or do it successfully don't feel uncomfortable. It's that when they do feel uncomfortable, they do it anyway. And I know that's something that is kind of like fluffy and motivational, but like, that is the truth of it. Like, at points in your business, you will feel imposter syndrome, sometimes more than other times. When I was first starting my business, just the idea of making business cards made me feel like a fraud. I'm like, what am I doing? Who am I to do this, right? And then I don't get that feeling as much anymore. But guess who got that feeling the night before we were throwing a conference in Vegas? Me. I'm like, what am I doing, right? And every time I get that feeling, I know that it's because I'm doing the right thing. You only get that feeling when you push yourself, right? When you do something new. And when you do something new is where new opportunity comes from. So you are going to feel that way. I just want you to think, when you feel this, look up imposter syndrome if you haven't, and it'll give you some context. It'll probably make you feel spoken to personally, honestly. But everybody feels imposter syndrome. It's just what you do when you feel it. And the worst part about the trap that imposter syndrome is the imposter syndrome becomes greater and greater the longer you don't take action. So when you sit there and you think, hey, I'm going to start, when people start telling themselves, I'm going to start my business next year in February. The problem with that is you let your imposter syndrome now made you come up with an excuse to push out when you're starting your business. And now you have 2 months to convince yourself out of it, right? Or 2 months to, maybe you already have your business. Maybe you want to cold call that broker and try to get a deal, right? And you're going to tell yourself, it's the holidays. I'm not going to do that right now, right? And it's like, dog, it ain't the holidays. Thanksgiving's next week. Like, today is not the holidays, right? The day Thanksgiving ends, it's Black Friday and everybody's selling except you, because you're too scared. Every other retailer on earth is selling. And so you have to try to when you feel imposter syndrome, the way I think about it is that is a sign I'm doing the right thing, and then I push into that.
If you're
Doesn't
not
make it easy.
uncomfortable, you're not growing. We
Yeah.
tend to just stay in our comfort space, and it feels nice, it feels great, it feels safe, but it doesn't mean anything. Like we can, as soon as you start feeling comfortable, you're not growing at all. You have plateaued, and then you're gonna make every excuse not to do the most uncomfortable thing. But that's how you get to the Sydney that's actually making money doing this business. Right now Sydney's scared, but the next one who did the uncomfortable part is making money already. And then that person's going to have other struggles that will continue going on because you already, accomplished this part. And so that's my advice.
Question up, but I wasn't trying to cut you off. That was some good stuff, mister.
You're good.
The next question is, if you're working a full-time job during the week, how would you politely mention to them that you're booked during the week, but can 100% shoot anytime on the weekend? So I'm going to get feedback from Jared, Aaron, and Kenny. One thing I want to add in here is you don't need to, beat around the bush with this one. Like, tell them you work a full-time job, but it is your goal to transition as soon as humanly possible. And you just need a certain amount of clients to do that. So I'd make sure they know that. Try to do some shoots in the evening if you can. If you have to have them wait till the weekend only, it's a little harder. Honesty is the key here. Do you have any thoughts on this, Jared? I don't know if you're about to jump in or who wants to jump in on this one.
I think you said it. Tell them I work a full-time job. I can do it at 5 o'clock. I can do it at 6 o'clock. If that's too dark, I can do it this weekend. I'm willing to work with you. I'll be there at 7 a.m. if you need me before I go to work. Just let me know what time works for you. I just work at this time to this time. I'm off on these days. I can do it whenever, anytime in between.
Yeah, I love how Jared just told exactly what his job was too. Like he didn't try to pretend like he was busy doing other shoots or something. A lot of people do that. And it's so interesting because if you think from the client's perspective, it is much better for you to be busy with your current job that you want to quit than try to tell the real estate agent you're so busy with shoots. They're never going to want to use you if they're like, this person's always busy.
Yeah.
Whereas they know if they're able to, get you a couple of referrals, you do a good job for them. They know that when you go full time, you're going to be like their personal photographer because you're going to have this wide open schedule. Like that's so attractive to real estate agents. So don't shy away from it.
I think it's also just worth saying on the fear side of things and the confidence side of things. I think most issues ultimately they have an emotional component to them, right? So one of the things that's also worth remembering is I think real estate agents, more than most people, understand like the hustle, right? The grind. They also have left something behind. Like most real estate agents have not done this their whole life. They get into it for a variety of reasons. Those people are more likely than the average person to respect someone who's burning the candle on both ends, to respect someone who's doing whatever they can to go out there and build their business. And a lot of people like a story like that. So yes, it would be nice, right? And that's everyone's goal. Like the goal is not to just work 2 jobs forever, right? The goal is to create an amazing business. And so we don't want to just stay with that forever. But there's a lot that an agent can appreciate. Someone who is so passionate about this, they're going to start doing this no matter what, no matter how much time they have, no matter how little time they have, they're going to make it work. That's a pretty good story.
It's a good story. And it's not only a good story, it works very well. Yeah. So going back to that panel, one thing that those 3 guys all said on that panel was that necessity played a big role. They had no choice. One of them had, has a wife and kids. He'd moved to a new city with no job. That's pretty high necessity, right? Mm-hmm. Another one had also moved to a new city, no job. Really high necessity, right? So I don't think you need to quit your job to give yourself necessity, but I think you can learn from that. Is like Aaron said, you have this attitude of I am going to make this happen. And how I'm going to make this happen is by serving real estate agents. And so I want to talk a little bit about, we have about 10 more minutes. I want to talk about how we recommend getting new clients. We're not necessarily going to go in depth in the process, but I am going to try to break a really common false belief that we see a lot of people in this industry have, which is that giving out free shoots is a bad idea. So you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, I'd never devalue myself. There's a reason the phrase the starving artist exists. And it's because artists generally have very bad business knowledge. The more artistic, the less the business knowledge typically.
Your art is worth 0 if no one wants it.
Yeah, your art's worth 0 if no one wants it. That's very true. And the other thing to think about is, so with the method we offer itself, we call it the Instagram method, and you can learn about it by going to watch the workshop linked in my bio. That's a free workshop, and we talk about it. It basically involves using Instagram strategically as a tool to give out free shoots. This doesn't mean you have to become a social media expert and try to get a bunch of followers. That's not the strategy. The strategy is giving out free shoots, because if you can give out free shoots, that is your best marketing. If you've built your business right, there's nothing that's going to be better to market your business than a sample of what you do. And so that's why we focus so much on service, because we know that if we have a good service and we show people that, they want to use us. And so there was a question about how do you gain clients even though they're loyal to the other client, the other photographer for years. First of all, it's just not true. That's not how it goes. But second of all, even if they were all super loyal, you got to win on service, right? And so there's a phrase I like said by Alex Hormozy, which is, being poor sucks more than helping people for free. And that is the core of the Instagram method, right? If you would like to not make money from this, maybe you're not poor, right? Maybe that's just an exaggeration. But if you'd like to make money from this, the fastest way is by getting free product, your experience, into your customers' hands. The first one, free only, per agent, right? When you reach out, if they come to you, charge them. If you reach out, first shoot free, demonstrate your services, go above and beyond, and you will build a business faster than you can ever imagine. Now, I'm not saying free is the only way, but we've worked with a lot of people over the last 3 years to build businesses. We've got the roadmap really ironed out at this point, and we just know from a data standpoint that offering a free first shoot as an offer is the fastest way to make money. I'm not even going to say the fastest way to grow your business. I'm talking about if you want to make the most money next month, you got to do free right now, right? It doesn't even take a month. That's the best part. And a lot of the people you do free shoots for are going to pay you anyway, because people hate being offered something for free. It makes them uncomfortable, but it's your way in there. And so I would really encourage you to think about that. Speaking of that, the next session is going to go in depth on that. So if you want it today, you can go watch the Instagram method, link to my bio. Our next live is Monday, right, Kenny?
Yes, Monday.
Cool. Our next live is Monday. So that one will be also at 7 p.m. Central, and you can learn about the Instagram method then. But I just want you to know going into this that, like, it is if you want to grow your business, we talked about all this other stuff. It somewhat matters. You need to know it. But I'm always going to bring these lives back to one thing, which is without clients, there is no company. And so you want to build a company, you want to get paid to do this. And so getting clients is your number one focus. And I want to, hopefully, for any of you who still hangs on to that, oh, I'd never give out free work, that is what's stopping you from building the business that you could. Because what you need when you first start your business, you don't need money. You feel like you need money. What you need first, the stepping stone between you and money, is opportunity. And so if you're willing to say, what does it take to get opportunity? Maybe it's giving free, right? And then you're going to go out there and you're going to do a great job for those clients. And that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I can possibly give you. That is how, when we work with people, we obviously teach them all the tactical stuff and everything like that. But that is why our coaching students are so successful, because we can make sure they do exactly what we want, because we've proven it to work. It's not just because we want them to do it a certain way, right? It's because we know that this method works and is successful. And so that will be the next training. Definitely show up for this. Normally we're keeping the trainings quiet, but the last 2 times someone's nailed what the next training is going to be. And that's also because there's not a firm set schedule, but that's neither here nor there. That being said, I think we're about time to wrap it up on this. So I would encourage you to go back, build out your prices, have an idea of what you're going to offer, make a game plan to get the gear I recommended. And if you're ready and you're serious, I highly encourage you to check out coaching and see what we can do to help you. I'm going to put the link up on the screen right now. It's replaunch.com/apply. We decided this year we're not selling anything for Black Friday. It's all free. We've been focusing on coaching for the last year and been getting students just amazingly good results. And so what we wanted to do is do these live trainings to help you figure out if real estate photography is the right business for you and if it's something you want to do, and give you a bunch of free value as kind of a taste of what we do. And if you want to take it a step further, you want us to literally guarantee your business. It's part of what we do. It's all written out in our contract. Go to that link, replaunch.com/apply. You can learn more about it and book a call with Carl, Philippe, or Rod on my team. They're my 3 guys that talk to you about what coaching looks like, and they're great at determining where you need to be and helping you kind of iron out your goals. So highly encourage you to check that out. And the next live training is going to be on Monday at 7 p.m. Central. It's going to be on the Instagram method and some other stuff. So go check that out. And
then real quick, I want to say, Nick, this is the second live you've been on asking the coaching price. I've told you it depends on where you're at, what you want to do.
Get on the call.
Go on the call and you'll find out. Like,
yeah,
I can't tell you how much it's going to be because I don't know what you want.
Yeah, we're not saying that because we don't want to tell you the price. We're saying that because we have a bunch of different programs. It depends on your goals, depends on how many hours per week you have available. And that's what that team does. That's why we pay people to jump on calls and talk with you. It's because it's not a one size fits all solution. Any coaching that is is probably not really coaching, right? It's just, hey, you need to do, like, there is a portion of it that is structured out. There is a portion of it that really depends on where you need to be. And so hopefully Jared was able to convince you to just don't be scared, take action. We don't run a high pressure team. They'd love to talk with you and share what it looks like. If you're not a good fit, they'll tell you too. We don't believe in wasting people's time. I've built my business on being respectful of people's time. So encourage you to check that out.
We guarantee results. That's the main thing. Like we literally are guaranteeing your business. So
I mean, if you get in coaching, there's no cost, right? What you make is guaranteed to be more than the cost. And so that's the cool thing about what we do. I mean, step by step, definitely, but it's, so us four right here, we're the coaches. You meet with us very often one-on-one. There's a group called Awesome. So anyway, check out there, replaunch.com/apply. Tuesday or Monday, do not miss the next training. It's completely free. It's going to be another 45 minutes to an hour of training and Q&A, all about getting clients. Probably going to be the best one that we've done. So we'd love to see you there. Guys, Aaron, Kenny, Jared, thanks so much for being here.
Good to be here.
See you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Cool. See you later. This is my 5th time not making that video. See you guys later. Have a great night.